here and get things going. So again, welcome to the Ivanhoe Knights. We are kicking off after the school holidays, all COVID things being equal, with our summer 2021-22 year. I'll go through some of the things as to what we are doing. So as Ivanhoe Knights, we are at the moment doing junior domestic basketball. We play on Saturdays and the kids train once a week. It's there for inclusion and fun and enjoyment. And to then with what Coach Ollie will go through is then the journey that we want the kids to do in terms of their own development if they do want to do further things to enjoy what they're doing. A little bit of the agenda there, I won't read that through to death, it's all repeated further through, but just to kick off, if we haven't already, it's you've got the link to becoming a member. We want to close off the registrations tomorrow being the 6th to give our selectors the best opportunity to be able to select the kids with knowing who the cohort is. How many under 16 girls have we got? Okay, let's sort it out from there. The later people register, the harder it is just to accommodate, as you know, some people, Monday nights is no good, so we can't train on a Monday, etc., etc. So the earlier we can do that, the easier it is to do. Basketball as a domestic sport is pretty line ball with most other domestic sports as to how much it costs. It's won't compare with soccer, which is an arm and a leg, but is also an annual fee that Basketball Victoria have now added in. So again, people starting last season, they're not paying that this season, etc., etc. So that's sort of separate to ours, but just to be aware that it will come through. For new members, which we all are, to also then make sure we do progress through and order a new uniform. The club will select the numbers just so we avoid wherever possible singlet clashes. So we've got the list of here are the kids, you know, again, under 14 boys, here are the kids within this 6-month bracket so that we don't get, you know, 6 kids wanting number 23 or the like. I've actually got an error there, which I should have fixed in between. Don't put an NA, just leave it blank and we'll sort out from there. Our games for where we play, which is the Eastern District Junior Basketball Association. We play our home games either at Ivanhoe East Primary, up at La Trobe University, and the possibility of Thornbury High School. And if Darebin Council get back to us, there's also the possibility across the road from the Bunnings, where the Velodrome and the Lawn Bowls is. They're building 4 new basketball courts there as well. It's more likely in the new year than it is before Christmas for us to get in there. Our away games, we could be playing any teams from the Collingwood All-Stars all the way out to, you've got the Eltham Wildcats. They're the biggest club. When in doubt, you're playing Eltham Wildcats or Park Orchard. So it's essentially along the length and breadth of the Eastern Freeway. Basketball, 40-minute game. So there's 50-minute lots with the breaks in between to try and get there early. The earliest game for the youngest kids is 8:30. Most of the older age groups, because of school sport, again, COVID notwithstanding, we play in the afternoon, knowing that school sport on a Saturday morning is the priority. Within there, again, what the EDJBA do is we've got, give or take, about 1,400 teams across both genders and all age groups. So we play 6 weeks of grading. Often that first week, you'll see different clubs have a different expectation of what an A grade team is, what a D grade team is. Over those 6 weeks, you'll see that normalise. And once the season proper goes on, most grades, unless you've had injuries or a team that tanks during grading, you always have those examples. But you get games for the most part are pretty close and competitive and at the level of development that your kids are at, which again makes for a much more enjoyable Saturday's game. You're not turning up and destroying the opposition or vice versa, being destroyed every week. We don't play games during the school holidays. We don't play games on the weekends of public holidays. So we finish, I'll bring up the calendar. Again, this is all on the EDJBA website, so don't worry about copying it down. It does get communicated out more than enough. But for the kids up to under 12s, all kids play finals. From under 13s on, it's only the top 4 that play. So again, don't take too much down, but certainly the pieces there is that there's no games on Melbourne Cup weekend. We finish when school finishes. We come back after school comes back. there's no games on Labor Day weekend, and we finish just before Easter as well, and before school finishes. Again, let's see what happens if and when we're able to get back on court. All kids in Ivanhoe Knights, we do 1 hour training per week. So earlier training times for the younger kids, and our under 20, under 21s maybe training at 9 o'clock at night. We have the 3 home venues. We've got at least 5, all things being equal, as long as the schools give us access to training across 5 venues there, Monday through Thursday night. Different courts have, we don't get every court on every night. Ivanhoe Primary, as example, we only get Wednesdays and Thursdays and that sort of thing. So within your training preferences, just be aware we look to accommodate everyone we can. 2 teams train at once. So we try and get, the under 16 girls 1s and the under 16 girls 2s to train at both ends of the court at the same time, so that when you can do things like scrimmage, you're doing those against teams at a similar level. Basketball size, at the younger age, the Basketball Victoria's just brought in, so the adult men's size basketball size 7, adult women's size is size 6. They have brought in from under 8s up until and under 10s. It'll move back down to a size 5, which again just gives a little bit more control of the weight and size that the younger age kids. From the girls, from under 12s on, will then move to a size 6 ball. The boys in 12s and 14s is size 6. The older boys from under, I think it's under 15s on, is a size 7, the full size basketball. Again, for training, bring a ball, bring a bottle, bring your basketball boots. We flip and flop between winter and summer seasons, between even age groups and odd age groups. Again, the intent of that is that across 4 seasons, the kids will be the oldest in the age group and the youngest in the age group. It will just rotate between the 4, so then all the kids get that opportunity to be playing at a higher or an introductory level across it. And the harder with the very small clubs, but the majority of the clubs then have enough teams that they can split across those higher and lower age groups there. When submitting, if you do have friendship requests, or if you do want to have a custom team, please put that information in, just so we're again able to accommodate it. It's domestic basketball. The intent is inclusion. Even playing time is what we direct to all of our coaches as to what we try and do. Again, with 8 kids in the team, there's 200 minutes across 5 players on court. So most kids we try and get to have 25 minutes of play each. It's not have the 5 starters on the court for 39 minutes and bring the other kids on for a minute at the end of the game. Again, I've called out with registration, the later you register, the harder it is to accommodate some of the requests with friendship requests. If we've got a team of 8 and you're friends with 2 of them, it's who do you take out of those sort of things there. For us, again, the lifeblood of the club are our families and our parent volunteers. Our parent volunteers are our coaches, they're our team managers, and then they're officials on the day by being on the score bench. So if you are interested, again, Coach Ollie will go through, but it's the support we give to our parent volunteer coaches. But it's from a procedural perspective, just to cover off with the Working with Children check, and Basketball Victoria also has a member protection declaration, which is please fill in your Working with Children check number and sign this form. Again, for us, it's kids, sport, be positive, be inclusive. It's not a win at all costs and all of those sort of things. Some of our kids, again, at the younger age groups, we do have some of our players coaching some of the age groups there. So again, to be conscious of juniors there when they are on court. For our piece, that the other one, the parents who aren't confident enough or time poor in relation to being able to coach, we also look for team managers. Again, that's around the communication of the information from the club or league, communication within the team. We have WhatsApp groups that we set up for our team so that we know who's available for training, who's available for games, where the game is, when the game is, help with transport and any of those sort of things. Our seasons now are all prepaid. It used to be the team manager also collected cash on the day, which was an absolute nightmare to administer, and then carry a bag full of cash at the end of the day. So all of that's gone away. Again, to be where we look to rotate the roster, that a parent is on the school bench, you are a game official from there. So your behaviour remains key during games. Also, we work through with our referees. A lot of our referees are our players. They're under 18. Just to reiterate that our behaviour is key, that there's no tolerance of it, that we have little to no complaints that come through in terms of Ivanhoe Knights families. We want to keep it that way. And then beyond that, before leading into Ollie, that he'll talk further on now some of our other opportunities and development programs that we have. We set ourselves up beautifully. The beautiful one in the middle, the Shooting Stars camp, is all set to go for this school holidays. Unfortunately, they're not letting us in there for now, so they will come up over the school holidays. Hopefully over Christmas we get to do a fair bit more there. And then finally, again, this is on the website, the contacts there. You've got Jane, Ollie, and Chris on the call here as well. Our contact into our referees and the committees there. And as always, if anyone, more than happy to get volunteers for committee, by all means, reach out to Jane and myself if you have no life and wish to do so. No, it's great fun. Really positive committee. If you look through all of the things, and with the other people that are on here as well, as to how much we've done and how much we're doing for our kids, to get them on court, to enjoy what they're doing, to get the best facilities and to get the best development set up for them. So that's really the end of it from me. I'll hand to Ollie from there. And if you're comfortable, we'll put the questions at the end. So I shall unshare and hand over to the coach.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Marcus. That's awesome. I'm very aware that we've got our older ones here. Some of this presentation does hit a little bit of our junior development, but I won't try to stick too long on that sort of stuff, because I think there is a lot about our older players moving through and their importance to our club as well. So obviously we'll run through just development and what we do here at the Knights outside of our normal basketball. For those unaware, my name's Coach Ollie. I'm the development director here at the Ivanhoe Knights, and look after all our programs from our smallest right up to our eldest as well. And then obviously encouraging our coaching network and group as well, which hopefully we want to try to encourage, again, a lot of our older players to, as they come through the ranks, to look to give back and also be involved in the program and get some extra learning themselves. Been really, really lucky. I've been able to coach basketball for over 15 years at a junior and semi-professional level, and been able to lead some programs here in Australia and also overseas, and spent some time in the collegiate ranks just outside Louisiana, and then also playing and coaching in England as well. So still currently, while there isn't any basketball, I still classify as being on the state development program until they get rid of me. Or until I'm too busy. So I'm always here in regards to, I've seen all the pathways and I've been involved from the beginning as a player, and then also as a coach as well. Just a brief view, the way we operate here with our development is we do have a curriculum. We do have a style of play that we want to encourage, and that goes in part with how we train and coach our coaches as well. Which then filters down to our players. And that's a really important part of what we do. I don't think we can just continue to hope that things become good. I think we actually have to have a plan as to where that looks like for our players. And really the Knights way and our curriculum of play is really about making sure that our players are getting the most joy from the game as well. I think that's important too, at any level or any age group. Our philosophy here at the Knights is to play hard, to play smart, play together, and attack first. And I know the attack first always comes at the back end, and we look at that as being confident basketball players, players that are willing to be the first people to go to the ball, the first players to be involved defensively. And I like to think that sort of then continues on in creating confident individuals off the court as well, that are the first ones to put their hand up in class, maybe the first ones to sit at the front of things, and not be fearful of our exams and those type of things as well with our older ones. I think that plays more of a part as we go through that with those ones. Our development, as I mentioned before, our fundamentals, we do encourage all our coaches to hit on these 5 areas at their training sessions: footwork, finishing and shooting, individual defense, ball handling, passing and catching. And we think that is important. I think we want to encourage our players to get better regardless of their age. You want to try to learn and expand your knowledge of the game, because that means that you will then stay in the game longer. I find that if you're a player sort of 16s and you're not being coached, you do tend to fade away from the game. And I look at all our players as they're not necessarily all going to be basketball players, but one day they might be coaches, one day they might be administrators for us, one day they might be referees, all those types of things. And I think for me, it's about having people healthily involved in the game from a lifetime perspective. Now, a lot of our skills programs obviously are aimed towards our younger ones. Marcus did mention before our Shooting Stars program, which is for our older players as well. And we'll be bringing in some more things as we go along for our older ones. Our Shooting Stars is a program that's run on the weekends. It's an extra training session for those that are, I guess, want a little bit more from their basketball. Doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be superstars, but maybe they love playing. They just want a bit more coaching, a bit more playing. They can certainly do that. Another part that we're really keen on is having our under 16 players and above more involved in what we're doing from a club perspective. You know, recently this term we had some of our under 15 girls were involved in some of our programs. We certainly have a few more of our junior players involved in helping out with the little kids and our little Knights programs. And we think they're great leadership opportunities for those involved in the club as well. And certainly, you know, in some cases, a chance to make a bit of pocket money in the school holidays and help us out. And I certainly know from a coaching perspective, I certainly started coaching my brother's team at sort of 15, and that certainly helps in regards to learning how to speak in public and those type of things as well. Part of that investment here in our older ones and in our programs is the purchase of a new machine, our Dr. Dish shooting machine, which will be used at our Shooting Stars program. We're also going to make this available to our teams at their team sessions as well. We're doing some age group works with them. Again, a great piece of machinery, shows the investment the club wants to put into ensuring the development of our players. Dr. Dish machine itself is a shooting machine. The idea behind it is that we're able to get up more shots in less time. And so I think we're one of the only domestic club I know of in Victoria that has this machine available to them. And I think that's something really special for us. So the premise of the machine is a rebounding machine, does keep score. And if we can have this set up on our courts on a regular basis, which we will have during the week at La Trobe Uni, and we'll be trying to get all our teams to at least be having at least 1 or 2 sessions a week, a month on the machine. We think it'll be a great benefit, and it's a bit of fun to get the ball rebounded to yourself rather than having to chase after any loose basketball bouncing across the court. Another great event that we started this year was our 3-on-3 tournament. We encourage all our coaches, and we've had a bit of ups and downs with this because of COVID, but I certainly encourage all our coaches to enter our teams in tournaments, especially our older ones. We generally put out a calendar of events that are coming up so you can register for those tournaments, but we also run our own event. Our 3-on-3 tournament has grown. It's a great tournament. We run it from under 12s to under 18s. It is based on friendship teams rather than the team you're playing in, so anybody can enter. And the information for that normally comes out just before the school holidays. They're fast-paced games. It continues to grow. As we've said, it doubles in size. It's a great community event for us. We've got players and teams from schools, Ivanhoe Knights, other local clubs are involved as well. And I guess for me, the bit I love the most about it is player-led. You probably gather from so far from my presentation, I'm a big component of making sure our players are leading things, that we're encouraging some leadership opportunities for our young people. And this is another great event for that. The players themselves coach the teams. There's no coaches involved. They also help score for each other in their age groups of where they're at as well. Obviously, we've got parents and people helping out, but at the same time, I like the fact that to see them personally involved in their own success and the running of this event is what makes it really great to be involved with. So it's another great event for us, and tournament wise, we'll get all that information out to our coaches once the season starts. As I mentioned before, coach education is another big part of my role here with the Ivanhoe Knights, and our coaches come from within our community, and that's a really special thing here, from parents to siblings to just general volunteers. We want to make sure that we're able to support them as much as we can, and part of that is making sure we provide them with their coaching uniform and equipment, age group training manuals, which we've put together to help, so there's no fear in getting on the floor as a first-time coach. You have a 10-week program that you can follow like a recipe for a good feed. We also have created our own free online coaching course as well, which is about 30 minutes that everyone can access, and all our coaches will go through before the start of the season. And we also facilitate Basketball Victoria pathway courses. And obviously myself, I like to think I'm a good resource who will talk basketball just about all day as a mentor to our players as well. And that goes from a mentor from a playing perspective in regard to their pathway and maybe what they should do in their steps as they grow older in the game, and also from potential pathways into administration and coaching and refereeing as well. I'm always here to help out, and something that I get a lot of joy out of as well. We know we're in a tough spot at the moment. We're in lockdown. I still am disappointed that I used this photo now. The more I look at my squinting face, staring right back at me in the middle of the screen there. But I'll laugh that off and continue on. But we are still here. We know it's lockdown at the moment, and we're unsure as to when our season will officially start. We hope it will start on time, but we're not sure of that. But as a community club, it's important that we are supporting our community, and I certainly have enjoyed getting out, getting on Zoom, keeping people plenty active. So we've got lots of activities happening online with our players. We have our shop doctor workout, which is where you send a video of your child shooting the basketball, and I send back some private coaching stuff that they can work on themselves, and we sort of send videos backwards and forwards and share some ideals. Recently, we've had some NBA and NBL coaches involved in some online discussions with our players and coaches in the club as well, which have been really well supported. And we constantly as a club are churning out some tips and social through our social media and videos to keep our players engaged as possible. So despite lockdown, we're just as busy as we are when it's not lockdown. I certainly feel just as busy as everyone else. So we are out there, and we're always keen to see if we can support as much as we can. That being said, that is enough out of me. Is there any questions as we get through? And again, we've only got a small group of people here, so please yell them out. Here to answer them as best we can.